and then we will discuss about today's lecture. So in the last lecture, we have discussed about the discrete Fourier transform. This is lecture number 12. So in this lecture, once again, we will revise what is discrete Fourier transform and what is inverse discrete Fourier transform, right? So I will share the screen and then we will start the discussion upon. Discrete Fourier transform is nothing but DFT, which we called. The use of discrete Fourier transform is to convert the discrete input signal. X of n is nothing but a discrete input signal, which we are going to convert into a frequency domain. X of k is representing signal in the frequency domain. So why we perform time domain to frequency domain signal conversion? Because some of the properties or some of the information which we cannot get easily in the time domain, we can extract from the frequency domain. So for that purpose, we convert the time domain signal into a frequency domain signal. Now, the signal, if the signal is continuous and periodic, we use Fourier series. If the signal is aperiodic, we use Fourier transform. In that case, input signal is continuous. Now, if I'm having the signal which is a discrete or which is not a continuous, which is a discrete, in that case, if I want to convert signal from time domain to frequency domain, I will have to use a DFT. DFT stands for discrete Fourier transform. So what is the formula for calculation of DFT? That is x of k is equal to summation n varies from 0 to n minus 1 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k n divided by capital N, where k varies from 0 to n minus 1. So this is the basic formula which is used to convert the input time domain signal into a frequency domain signal. Okay, so this is the basic formula. Now, if the signal, frequency domain signal is available with me, if I want to convert frequency domain signal back into a time domain, in that case, I will have to use IDFT. So IDFT stands for inverse discrete Fourier transform, with which we can convert frequency domain signal into a time domain signal. Okay, so this is with this we can convert frequency to time. With this we convert time to frequency. So these are the two formula which we are going to use further for calculation of our calculation. So I have given you homework. Many of the students are not doing homework. So I request everybody to do homework properly, right? So we will go with a next part of discrete Fourier transform as a linear transformation. So for linear transformation, this is now new point which we will see further. So I will share whiteboard so that we can discuss upon. The next point we will be discussing as DFT as a linear transformation. So DFT as linear transformation. Linear transformation in the sense we will be representing the input signal in terms of matrix. Now here we will be applying the matrix methodology. So linear transformation we'll see. Now who will tell me DFT formula which I have told you sometime before? So tell me what is this? What is DFT? Unmute yourself and tell me. Yes, who will tell me? Unmute yourself and tell me. You can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and tell me. Vijay, tell me. What is the formula for DFT? Vijay Bhosle. Are you in the meeting? Vijay? I am asking to you. Sanjana, unmute yourself and tell me. Sanjana? Sanjana, are you able to unmute yourself? Yes, Sanjana, I'm asking something. Unmute yourself. Tell me DFT formula. Sakshi? Hello? Hello, are you able to unmute yourself? Sakshi, are you able to unmute? What is this DFT formula? Respond me fast. Rohini, if you are not able to unmute, you can put the message in the chat box so that I will understand. Are you able to unmute yourself? Put the message in the chat box if you are not able to unmute. Aishwarya, Rohini, what about others? Tell me formula for discrete Fourier transform. Supriya, roll number 13. Roll number 13, Supriya.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me DFT formula. Are you able to listen to me?
Yes, ma'am.
People are not responding. What is the problem? Tell me, what is DFT formula?
Summation raised to
X of k is equal to, X of k is the DFT values, right?
yes, ma'am.
X of k is equal to
Summation capital N minus 1.
Summation n varies from, we will take lower limit first, hai na? This is lower limit. N varies from 0 to n
minus 1.
Right? N minus 1.
Here x into n minus
X
n.
of n. This is
Small
our
n.
signal in the time domain. X of n into
E raised to minus j.
Minus j, right?
2 pi.
2 pi
Divided by capital N.
Divided by capital N.
Into kn.
Into
small
kn.
n.
Right. So this is our DFT formula. Now what we will do? We will try to convert this formula into a matrix form. So for that purpose here, the one more parameter is introduced called as a W parameter. This exponential part, this exponential part is represented by a W. So I will write here now. This k, the k is also varying from, the value of k is also varies from 0 to n minus 1. The value of k varies from 0 to n minus 1. If it is varies from 0 to n minus 1, so how many samples I have for x of k? How many samples I have for x of k?
N samples.
we have n samples, right? So here for x of k, we have n samples. How many samples we have for x of n? How many samples we have for x of n? Here itself, you can understand. This summation sign represents how many samples of x of n will be there? Input signal, hai na? 0 to n minus 1. Means how many samples will be there for x of n? How many samples will be there? There are n number of samples for input signal. There are n number of samples for output signal. Now here two variables are present, k and n. So how many samples are there for, or how many computations of this exponential part? We perform, there are two variables, k and n. So how many computations that we perform? We perform n by n computations for this particular exponential part, because we have two variables, k and n. Here you can observe that there are two variables, k and n, where k varies from 0 to n minus 1, and this n is also varies from 0 to n minus 1. As there are two variables, k and n, so there are number of computations that we have to perform are nothing but n by n computations, because of these two variables, k and n. So this is, now I want to represent this entire whatever I am discussing, I want to represent by the matrix format. So x of k is having n number of samples, right? X of k is having n number of samples, and that is I am going to represent by the matrix format. So this is 1 by n. This is there are so this is what we are representing by using matrix. So there are n number of samples, and those we are representing as x of 0. Then next sample is x of 1. Then next sample is x of 2. So in this way, how many samples I have for DFT values? For DFT values, in the same way, I have x of n minus 1 samples, right? Because total किती sample आहेत आपल्या आता DFT चे? We have total n number of samples, and those samples, मग तो n number of samples, how we represent? X of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3. Likewise, the last sample will be x of n minus 1. And whatever I am now speaking, I have represented in the matrix format. So in the matrix format, how many rows that we have? We have n rows and 1 column. So the size of this matrix will be n by 1, right? Here in this matrix, how many rows that we have with us? This is 1, 2, 3 up to n. So how many rows we have? We have n rows, and column, only 1 column is present. So this is represented by n by 1, right? So here this x of k DFT samples we have represented with the help of matrix, because we want to represent the entire equation by using matrix. So I have started with the first output DFT values, and output DFT values, how many we have? We have n number of values, and that is I have represented by the matrix x of k equal to x of 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So here we have n number of rows. Therefore, the size of this matrix we have written as n by 1. So this is the size of the matrix. Similarly, for the second input, what is that? X of n. The x of n is the input signal. In the input signal also we have n discrete values, and that is also we will be representing by using matrix. So here x of n will represent as x of n, which is equal to Here again, I am going to represent this by using a matrix form, and that is equal to, now first sample we have denoted as x of 0, 0th sample hai na? X of 0. Then second sample is x of 1. Second sample is x of 1. Similarly, third sample which I am going to write here is x of 2. And in the same way, the last sample will be, because there are n number of samples, so last sample will be x of n minus 1. This is going to be my last sample. So I have represented input signal x of n in terms of matrix, and the size of this matrix is also here. What will be the size of matrix? It is going to be n by 1 only. In this case also, the size of the matrix will be, what will be the size of the matrix? It is n by 1. I'm going to represent entire equation by using matrix format in such a way that we can represent DFT as a linear transformation. So what I did, I have represented x of k in terms of n number of sample in terms of matrix. Then I have represented input signal x of n again in terms of matrix format. Here again I have n number of samples, so those n number of samples I have represented in the matrix, the values. This is the first value, this is the second, third, and likewise this one will be the nth value. So the size of this matrix, this is input signal, so size of this matrix is n by 1. This is the output signal, which is nothing but the DFT values. If I am representing in the matrix format, the size of matrix will be n by 1, n number of rows and only 1 number of column. Here again, similar kind of things we can take it as, this is the input signal x of n will be having n number of values. So those n number of values are represented in the single column. So those n number of values are represented by n rows and only 1 column. So size of this matrix is n by 1. Okay. So same way, now what we want to do, we want to represent the exponential part. So what is exponential part in the formula? That is e raised to minus j 2 pi upon n. This is the exponential part. 2 pi upon capital N into Kn. So this is the exponential part, which is again present in the equation. Now what we did, we have represented this exponential part by using a W factor. What we did, we have represented this exponential part. What is that exponential part? E raised to minus j 2 pi upon n. This is the exponential part which we have represented by the W factor. So this W factor that we have introduced here. The new thing that we have introduced here in the exponential part. In the exponential part in the equation of DFT is e raised to minus j 2 pi upon n into Kn. So what we did, we have represented e raised to minus j 2 pi upon n. This is being represented by a W factor. This W factor is known as a twiddle factor. This W factor, it is also called as a twiddle factor. Are you writing this? This is also called as a twiddle factor. So we have represented the exponential part by using the W factor, or you can call it as twiddle factor. So this is going to be represented as, W raised to Kn. This is going to be represented as W raised to Kn, right? The exponential part, e raised to minus j 2 pi upon capital N multiplied by Kn, where we have represented e raised to minus j 2 pi upon capital N by the twiddle factor W. So this entire equation we can write once again as W raised to Kn, where the variable k, where the variable k is where the range of this is given as it varies from 0 to n minus 1. It is going to change from 0 to n minus 1. The second variable n, the range of second variable n is also going to change from 0 to n minus 1. It is going to change from 0 to n minus 1. So both the factors, both the variables k and n, for Twiddle factor, both the values k and n, both variables are changing from 0 to n minus 1, and n also varies from 0 to n minus 1. So if I want to represent here, Twiddle factor w raised to kn by using matrix, here, what I find that there are two variables. One is variable n and another is variable k. Both are changing from 0 to n minus 1. So let us say variable k, which varies from 0 to n minus 1. So if I write here 0, 1, 2, 3, k is varying from 0 to n minus 1. So I'm writing here k varies from 0 to n minus 1. The one variable I have considered here, where k varies from 0 to n minus 1. Similarly, second variable I will write here n. The second variable is n, which is also changing from 0 to n minus 1. So I'm writing here k. I have taken this k variable for representation of column, whereas I have taken this n variable for representation of rows, right? So this is n varies from 0 to n minus 1. So I'm writing here n varies from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to n minus 1. So n is representing number of samples that those are present in the signal. So n is actually we have taken for representation of rows, and capital N is denoting that there are number of samples are nothing but the number of samples which are present in the signal. Okay, so here two variables we have. What are those two variables? K and n. K is taken for representation of DFT values. N variable we have taken for the input signal, time domain, we can say it as time domain variable. K, we can say it as frequency domain variable. The Twiddle factor is denoted with the help of k and n. So both are having some range. K has denoted by 0 to n minus 1. N variable has been denoted by 0 to n minus 1. So both the variables we have represented in the matrix format. Now, if I substitute values of k and n in this equation, now for the first position, here at this first position, what I am observing that n is 0, k is 0. So what I am writing here, 0 multiplied by 0. So the first value will be equal to w raised to 0, right? The first value, it is equal to w raised to 0, first value. Then second value, what will be the second value? This is w raised to n is 0, k is 1. So what will be the second value? N is 0 and k is 1. So what will be there? 1 multiplied by 0. If it is 1 multiplied by 0, what you are getting value here? This is going to be w raised to 0 again. So in the first row, all will be equal to w raised to 0 only. All the values will be equal to 0. W raised to 0 up to the n minus 1 value. So all are equal to 0 only in the first row. In the first column, if I'm considering the first column, what you are going to observe that the k is 0, n is varying from 0 to n minus 1. At the same time, k is 0. If I'm going to substitute value here, I'm going to get all the values equal to 0. इथं मी जर सबस्टिट्यूट करत गेले कॉन्सिक्वेंटली k ची व्हॅल्यू कॉन्स्टंटली किती आहे 0 आहे. k ची व्हॅल्यू कॉन्स्टंटली how much value of k is here constantly this value is equal to 0. So if it is k is 0, so whatever may be the value of n, the multiplication is always will come out as a 0 only. So what I am going to get here, third value is also going to be w raised to 0. Fourth value is also equal to w raised to 0, and n minus 1 value is also equal to w raised to 0. We have written first column and first row. Now the second value I am going to consider here. इथं काय येणार आहे आता व्हॅल्यू इथं k ची व्हॅल्यू किती आहे हाऊ मच इज द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ k इज इक्वल टू 1 आणि ऍट द सेम टाइम व्हॉट इज द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ n इज ऑल्सो इक्वल टू 1. मग इथं w फॅक्टर किती येणार आहे आपला सुप्रिया रोहिणी किती येणार आहे आता w फॅक्टर आता सांगू शकताय ना रोहिणी Unmute yourself, Rohini. Now you can tell me. Rohini, are you in the meeting? Rohini Jagtap. Naneshwari.
Yes, ma'am.
इथं व्हॅल्यू आता W ची सांगा चुकू दे काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही. But you should tell, you should say something. Naneshwari? Ha. Aishwarya, very correct. What we will get here? W raised to 1. कसे येणार आहे 1? Because k ची व्हॅल्यू पण 1 आहे आणि n ची व्हॅल्यू पण 1 आहे. त्यामुळे या दोघांचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन किती होणार आहे? W raised to 1 multiplied by 1. So इथं ही व्हॅल्यू किती येणार आहे w raised to 1 only. Next value, tell me what will be the next value? n किती आता 1 आहे पर k किती झालाय आता 2 झाला ना. नेक्स्ट कॉलमला आलोय आपण. k ची व्हॅल्यू किती झाली 2
W raised to 2.
राईट व्हेरी नाईस. आणि इथं शेवटी लास्ट व्हॅल्यू किती होणार आहे आता इथं n ची व्हॅल्यू 1च राहणार आहे पण k ची व्हॅल्यू किती झाली आता
W raised to 1, ma'am.
n minus 1 होणार ना. लास्ट व्हॅल्यू आहे ना आपली ही. कळतंय ना हे बघा आता n ची व्हॅल्यू 1 आहे ती कॉन्स्टंटली ह्या रो मध्ये सेमच राहणार आहे पण आता आपला कॉलम चेंज होतोय. सो कॉलमची लास्ट व्हॅल्यू किती आहे n minus 1 आहे. सो व्हॉट वी विल राईट हियर 1 multiplied by n minus 1. So what will be the value ultimately we will be getting w raised to n minus 1. So this will be my last value in this row, right? In this row my last value will be w raised to n minus 1. Similarly इथं काय काय येणार आहे सांगा पटपट मला. आता इथं n ची व्हॅल्यू किती आहे what will be the value of n in this case now? n is equal to 2. k ची व्हॅल्यू किती आहे 1 आहे. सो इथं किती येणार आहे आपली व्हॅल्यू आता w raised to
2.
राईट दिस इज राईट w raised to 2. इथं किती येणार आहे आता हा 2 आहे इकडचा हा 2 येणार सेकंड आहे ना 0
W raised to 4.
राईट
W raised to 4.
राईट w raised to 4. शेवटची व्हॅल्यू किती येणार आहे आता लास्ट व्हॅल्यू किती येणार आहे
n minus 2.
2 multiplied by n minus 1. चालते की मग 2n minus 2 म्हणा मल्टिप्लिकेशन आहे ना 2 into n minus 1 किंवा 2n minus 2. That is also correct, no problem. Okay, now here you tell me what will be the value w raised to
3.
3, right? Here
W raised to 6.
6 राईट. इथं किती येणार आहे शेवटची व्हॅल्यू?
W raised to 3 into n minus 1.
बरोबर. W raised to 3 into n minus 1. W raised to 3 into n minus 1. आता लास्ट आपण कॉलम घेतलाय, लास्ट रो घेतलाय. सो लास्ट रो ला n ची व्हॅल्यू किती आहे? n minus 1 आहे. मग इथं किती येणार आता सांगा बरं. आता लास्ट रो घेतलाय आपण.
n minus 1.
येस. W raised to n minus 1 multiplied by 1 आहे ना, म्हणून आपण नुसतं n minus 1 घेणार. नेक्स्ट व्हॅल्यू काय येणार आहे?
W raised to 2n minus 2.
येस. W raised to 2n minus 2 किंवा 2 into n minus 1 असंही म्हणू शकतो तुम्ही फॉर सिम्प्लिसिटी. आता मला लास्टची व्हॅल्यू काय येईल सांगा बरं. इथं शेवटची व्हॅल्यू what will be the last value here? हा कुठला रो आहे? n minus 1. हा कुठला कॉलम आहे? n minus 1. सो त्याची काय येणार आहे आता इथं? पॉवर काय येणार आहे?
Multiplication.
हा, दोघांचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन म्हणजे काय होणार आहे? n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 1 है ना. आपण सिंपल बोलूया. n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 1. So these are the two values which is going to be obtained here. So what will be the size of this matrix? या matrix ची साइज किती असणार आहे? आता किती एलिमेंट आले ह्याच्यात? काय असणार आहे साइज या मॅट्रिक्स ची? बघा हे n रोज आहेत आणि n कॉलम आहेत. सो साइज ऑफ दिस मॅट्रिक्स ची काय येणार आहे?
n by n.
Right. The size of this matrix will be n by n. So we have represented the input signal by using n by 1 matrix आणि त्याचा मल्टिप्लिकेशन मध्ये हे आपलं ट्विडल मॅट्रिक्स आहे. W matrix you can say it as. So ट्विडल मॅट्रिक्स ची साइज काय आहे? n by n. So entire DFT equation now we will represent. What is that DFT equation? Capital X suffix n is equal to x, कारण ह्या दोघांच्या मॅट्रिक्सची साइज काय आहे? n आहे. मल्टिप्लाइड बाय ट्विडल मॅट्रिक्स W. So I will not write this. W suffix n. So this entire equation which we have represented is called as a linear transformation of DFT. Linear transformation of DFT. So where we have represented both the input in terms of n by 1 matrix, then twiddle or this exponential part we have represented by n by n matrix, and then output we is automatically it is going to be it will be calculated, or the size of output automatically it will be n by 1 only. So ह्या इनपुट ची साइज किती आहे? n by 1 आहे. ह्या मल्टिप्लिकेशन और या एक्सपोनेन्शियल पार्टची साइज किती आहे? इट इज n by n. सो अल्टिमेटली ह्या दोघांचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन, मॅट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेशन केल्यावर जे काय आउटपुट येणार आहे, what will be the size of that output? It is ultimately equal to n by 1. So in this way we can represent the entire DFT equation as a linear transformation. This entire DFT equation we can represent in terms of linear transformation, right? Are you clear with this? Tomorrow we'll solve problem based on linear transformation, and DFT has a linear transformation. It is clear to all of you how we have represented? In the first slide we have represented the input signal. The input signal. What is input signal? X of n. As we are as we are here, x of n is the input signal which we have represented by n by 1 matrix. Then the output signal. X of k is the output. So output also we have represented by n by 1 matrix. Along with that, the third parameter, which is nothing but this exponential part. This exponential part also we have represented by n by n matrix. And finally, this entire equation, DFT equation, which we have represented as a linear transformation of discrete Fourier transform. So DFT we have represented as a linear transformation. Now, why we did this exercise? Because we want to get a simplified solution of discrete Fourier transform. We can calculate discrete Fourier transform by applying equation or formula directly, or we can calculate discrete Fourier transform by using linear transformation technique. So this is the second technique with which you can calculate the discrete Fourier values. DFT values you can calculate by using linear transformation also. So in the next lecture, we will see how to calculate discrete Fourier values or DFT values by using linear transformation. Okay. So with this now, we will stop for today's lecture.